Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. I never start off with a comment, but I'm going to start off with this comment because, April, you're exactly right. I did jinx myself with an earlier start time. Making the prediction of an earlier start time yesterday. Everything was going well until I went to do my clips, edit the clips before the show, and I do it before every show. And then I couldn't hear the clip. And I went, why can't I hear the clip? I realized it was going through the computer. It wasn't going on my headphones, and that's always bad. It means the audio's off. So I was like, what the heck's going on? I couldn't figure it out. So I realized there was an update that needed to be done. And usually the update's maybe 5 minutes. This one was 20. Not fun. So behind on everything. Mi scusi, me dispiace, lo siento, I'm sorry. But I'm here now. And I apologize. But welcome in. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. And it's lovely, wonderful, amazing to have you along for the ride. Despite the horrific and depressing news that the Eagles season is over before it began. I don't know where you guys were, but I'll remember where I was when Jalen Hurts finally threw his first interception of training camp. I know. Well, it'll take us a minute to get over it. I hope this mental trauma doesn't hinder Jalen Hurts' performance in Brazil, as we know and have known and could pretty much safely assume that Jalen Hurts is not going to play on Saturday. It doesn't appear that he's going to play on Saturday in the preseason finale. And it looks like the next time we're going to see him play is in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers. I hope he can mentally prepare himself between now and then to just shake off the bumps in the road. Jalen, you know what? Everybody fails from time to time, and failure is what? Failure is our best teacher, Jalen. Keep on keeping on, brother. Keep on keeping on. Darius Slay did talk about it afterwards, as one would assume. He was having some fun with it. And the Eagles made a very interesting move yesterday that I think helps the cause of one of my personal training camp darlings. We used to call him Mr. Lehigh. Now sometimes refer to him as Mr. Training Camp. I can refer to this gentleman now maybe as possibly Mr. Training Camp of this year. One of the many. One of the camp darlings, if you will. We'll get into that conversation. Also, Bryce Harper is the kingmaker. If Bryce Harper likes you, you either are going to be a Philly for longer than originally anticipated, or like JT Realmuto, for instance. He got the contract extension. Or you're going to be a Philly eventually, Trey Turner. Last night, Bryce Harper gave one hell of an endorsement to Weston Wilson. And Weston Wilson has been nothing short of a godsend to the Philadelphia Phillies, a team that has been struggling mightily as of late, as we know. And one of the wild things about Weston Wilson is this. The Phillies are in no way, shape, or form in a position to say, oh, are you a red-hot bat? Are you smoking hot right now? As an offensive player, are you doing really well? You know what? Sit on the bench. We don't need you. Take a breather. You know what I mean? They're in no position to tell someone as hot as Weston Wilson right now to sit down. And I know Weston Wilson playing or not playing in the series opener against the Braves rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I'm one of them. And now it appears Austin Hayes is going to be coming back to the Phillies lineup, back to the big leagues in a couple days. He is going to be back possibly tomorrow in KC when the Phillies open up a 3-game series against the Royals. Austin Hayes has been at the AAA level, rehabbing his hamstring, and it looks like he's going to be coming back in the very near future tomorrow. So what are the Phillies to do? Well, here's one thing. Both Weston Wilson and Austin Hayes seem to be hitting left-handed pitching rather well, and that's a good thing. I'm fine with that. You're looking at left-handed pitching that they're hitting, 333 for Austin Hayes against lefties, and in a much more limited sample size against left-handed pitching, Weston Wilson is hitting 455. Bryce Harper seems to think that Weston Wilson will figure it out as far as how to hit right-handed pitching eventually. And even if he doesn't, you still have a guy that could go up there and platoon with Brandon Marsh, which is ultimately a fine goal to have. have the lefty, have the righty, and then be able to hit the opposites. Common splits, not reverse splits, common splits. Austin Hayes, for whatever reason, I've been banging this drum for quite some time, and wouldn't you know it, I only look more smart. Thanks, Sir Anthony Dominguez, because one of the things I said is if Austin Hayes could hit left-handed pitching, or should be hit right-handed pitching, then he would have cost you a lot more than Sir Anthony Dominguez and a guy that was DFA'd 6 days later in Christian Pache. So for me, the Phillies, even when they made the trade, and Dave Dombrowski was addressing the media, and he said, "Oh no, Austin Hayes can go out there and he can hit the righties too." Oh, can he? 222 batting average. I wouldn't say, oh, that can make him hit righties and lefties. No, that if you hit 222 against anybody, that means you suck. That is not a good batting average to have, unless you're Kyle Schwarber. You're just hitting Schwarber bombs all the time, which is something I could use in the not too distant future. Here, Kyle Schwarber, get that going again. But if you're hitting 211 against right-handed pitching like Austin Hayes, you're not hitting right-handed pitching. So I think that experiment has failed, Philadelphia Phillies. So why not give Weston Wilson a couple of more rips? Now, Rob Thompson, his credit, did say after the game that Weston Wilson would get more ABs. Maybe they put him out there today. I don't know. But I know when Bryce Harper likes somebody, that person, that somebody tends to stick around. So we'll get to that conversation a little bit more. And the New York Mets, I was referencing this. New York Mets walked it off again for a second time against the Baltimore Orioles. For a second time in this series at Citi Field against the O's, the Mets walked it off against Sir Anthony Dominguez. Isn't that funny? Is it crazy? Do you think he's better than that? Because you got Austin Hayes. Austin Hayes is amazing. He's not that amazing. But good for the Mets walking it off there against the Orioles. And then as far as this Phillies game goes last night, a lot of great things in terms of Weston Wilson. Pinch hitting appearances. Good pinch hit ABs without getting a pinch hit. Brandon Marsh got the game winner. We'll get into that. Aaron Nola's start goes 5 1/3. And we got so much to get into when it comes to that. So let's get into it. First off, let's get into this Phillies game when we look at everything from last night. I was pretty amazed by what I saw, especially after the Orlando Arcia 2-run home run off Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola had some great bite on his knuckle curve last night. He had some great run on his two-seamer last night. And that's really been the bread and butter for Aaron Nola for a long time now. And what I saw from Aaron Nola last night was a guy that had that great movement on his pitches. He just looked to be laboring throughout his start. And what I'm referencing is a couple of innings that he really struggled in. And one, they really did get to him. And even in that particular inning, it wasn't a labor-filled inning. The inning that they got to him on was the Arcia 2-run home run in the 4th inning. That wasn't anything crazy. It was only an 18-pitch inning. Prior to that, he had given up a 22-pitch inning. He had a 25-pitch inning in the 3rd inning. So there were more innings that he certainly labored in, despite having great movement on his pitches. There was a couple occasions, I think it was that 3rd inning, that he looked to lose his arm slot, and the Braves were helping him out by swinging at stuff that was outside the zone. Now, part of that is credit to Aaron Nola. I mean, I just sung the praises of Ronaldo Lopez in the opener of this series when he was able to get guys like Kyle Schwarber to just fan at pitches, each one of them out of the zone that were never in the zone to begin with, and just get fooled from the time the ball left the fingertips of Ronaldo Lopez. And last night, Aaron Nola certainly had that going for himself when it came to that knuckle curve, came to it when he had that sinker, being able to have that great run on it. And then there are other innings where he was just able to just have 1, 2, 3, very rarely, and really never get into trouble. First inning, he went up there, had a pretty smooth inning other than the Whit Merrifield infield single where Sosa fell. Other than that, that looked like it was going to be a 1, 2, 3 inning, but he did not struggle in that one. It was 12 pitches. Second inning, gave up 1 hit, did get a fielder's choice, had a strikeout on Loreno, and that was on the knuckle curve. That was a 22-pitch inning, though. Third inning, like I said, 25 pitches, ran into a little bit of trouble there. Bases loaded, 2-out situation, and got Murphy to ground out to first to end that threat. And then the 4th inning, that's when Arcia got to him. This was an interesting thing with Orlando Arcia. The Phillies have already won this battle. And I feel like anytime somebody does something to you at a very high level, like the playoffs, for instance, and you try to throw it back in their face in anything other than that high level, that's weak sauce, bro. And Orlando Arcia taking Aaron Nola deep on a 2-run home run that just barely made it over the wall in left field. That is no room for Orlando Arcia to look at Bryce Harper with the stare down, reminiscent of Attaboy Harper from last year's postseason. So Orlando Arcia, that was pretty weak, bro. Pretty weak. Because nobody's even thinking about that at this point. You know when we think about it as Phillies, we think about it in the playoffs. That's when we think about it. If the Braves make the playoffs. Anyway, so I look at Bryce Harper and I look at Orlando Arcia, and I'm like not even on the same page. And after the game, when Bryce Harper was asked about it, he had a great response. I don't care. I couldn't care less. That's what he said. Scott Lauber's story has it. I don't care. I couldn't care less. First off, I also want to say, just thank you, Bryce Harper, for using the appropriate I couldn't care less. Not I could care less, because that means you could really love something, but you could care less. See the difference there? Anyway, so good job by Bryce Harper for not making it any bigger of a deal than Orlando Arcia thinks of it. You're living rent-free in his head. That's what comes to mind. As the game went on, Nola settled in a little bit, got into trouble in the 5th inning, and just couldn't get out of it. He strikes out Ozuna to start things off, looking at a sinker away. Olsen strikes him out on a sinker. Inconsistent call. Home plate umpire last night had a very inconsistent strike zone. Murphy struck out. That was the 1 inning. He had 1, 2, 3, and that was a 13-pitch inning, and he sat everybody down via the strikeout. Struck out the side. 6th inning, is the one he couldn't get out of. He went 5 1/3 last night. Started the 6th inning. I talked about laboring. Started the 6th inning at 90 pitches. Kelenic led it off with the single. He was down in the count 0-2. He ended up winning that at bat. Arcia grounded into the 5-4 force out, fielder's choice. It should have been a double play. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Sosa's throw off the line. Then Laureano goes up there. He gets the single. You got 2 runners on. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. Nola goes out. Hoffman comes in, and Jeff Hoffman started a great run of Phillies pitching from the bullpen last night. Here's the box score. This is the way it would end up. After a 5 1/3 from Aaron Nola, 8 hits, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts, 1 home run, 100 pitches even in 5 1/3. Jeff Hoffman came in, 2/3 of an inning, all recorded on 4 outs and a double play. He got Urshela grounded at a 4-6-3 double play, and you were out of it. Bang, bang, boom, just like that. What was so great about that is that the Phillies tied the game up in the 6th inning, in the top of the 6th inning, thanks to a Kyle Schwarber RBI ground out, bringing Johan Rojas in. Bringing Edmundo Sosa in, and then Trey Turner getting a sac fly RBI to left field to score Johan Rojas. Previously in the inning, you had led off with a single from Sosa and Rojas. This is what I loved about the Rojas double. Before Rojas hit that double, they had him laying down a bunt. Now, I don't know if that was on his own intent or if he was coached to do that. But either way, they wanted him to learn how to bunt better when he went down to the minors. You haven't really seen a lot of it. And in this situation, I know the Phillies are scratching and clawing to try to get runs in this series. He lays down a bunt. It goes foul just down the first baseline. And then in the very next pitch, Rojas unleashes the fury and tattoos a ball off the left field wall. He then makes it to second base. You got runners on 2nd and 3rd with nobody out to start off that inning. Phillies are able to play some small ball and just put the bat on the ball. Schwarber brings in a run on that ground out, and then Turner gets a sac fly RBI to left field. And just like that, the Orlando Arcia 2-run home run is erased, and you start over at an even score, 2-2. Then in the 6th inning, Hoffman gets out of it. Strahm goes into the 7th inning, gets a 1-2-3 inning there. Let's see the numbers again from him. And then Brandon Marsh in the 8th inning, after being led off with a Weston Wilson double. You get a pinch hit situation with Bryson Stott hitting for Edmundo Sosa. Good call, Rob Thompson. Credit where credit's due. Good job, Rob Thompson. And then goes to Brandon Marsh. After the leadoff double by Weston Wilson, he goes station to station, 2nd to 3rd on the sac fly by Stott, pinch hitting. And then with Brandon Marsh stepping up the plate, he brings in Weston Wilson on the sac fly RBI. to the warning track. He ropes the hanging slider to the warning track, and the Phillies take a 3-2 lead. After that, Orion Kerkering comes in. He handles his business there easily in the 8th inning with an 11-pitch inning. And in the 9th inning, after the Phillies, by the way, in the top of the 9th inning, actually put another leadoff runner on, but couldn't bring him around with the Trey Turner reaching on the drop third strike. He reaches first, couldn't do anything with that, unfortunately. Harper had a warning track power fly out to right field. And then in the bottom of the 9th inning, of course, Carlos Estevez, or Charlie Sheen, as some people refer to him on the postcast, he goes up there and has a struggle-filled bottom of the 9th inning, but gets out of it thanks to Harper smothering a ball at first base. He gives up a walk and a hit, and Carlos Estevez, and still manages to hold on for his 22nd save of the season. All in all, things were feeling pretty damn good, but the talk of the game afterwards was the bullpen and Weston Wilson. The bullpen went out there last night and took over after Aaron Nola 100 pitches through 5 1/3, and they just closed the door. And the lineup last night left a lot to be desired. Top of the order again, Kyle Schwarber. Now, he had a hit, and he also had the RBI on that ground out. All right, good job, Kyle Schwarber. At least he got a hit last night. But then Trey Turner with another strikeout. Bryce Harper with another strikeout. Alec Boehm ends the consecutive game streak of reaching base. I think it ends at 36 games. Nick Castellanos 0 for 3 with a strikeout. JT Real Muto, he roped one in this game, and unfortunately, warning track power. He goes over 2, but with a walk in this one. Weston Wilson leads the offense with 2 hits. He went 2 for 3 last night. In his limited time with the big leagues, with the Phils this year, 362 with a 380 on base percentage. Not too shabby. Edmundo Sosa. This reminds me of stretches in the beginning of the year where the bottom of the order guys were carrying the top of the order guys. Where the bottom of the order guys that are just really hoping they make something happen, we're carrying the guys at the top of the order that are making the big bucks. Early in the season, when the Phillies were getting out to that incredible start, right? Before we were worried about them just falling off the edge of the world. One of the big things was the difference between this season and last season. The biggest difference isn't that Bryce Harper's hitting the cover off the ball or Kyle Schwarber looks like he's on pace for a phenomenal batting average for Kyle Schwarber. Like he can hit 350. Oh my, or excuse me, 250. He can hit 250 with potentially 40 home runs. Damn. All right. Bring it. It was the guys at the bottom of the Garrett Stubbs having his time. Rafael Marchand having his time. Certainly Brandon Marsh having his time. Christian Pache, I will not. He won you a game against the Marlins. Oddly enough. So things like that make me look at this Phillies team and go, okay, maybe there's something special going on here. Because those guys are going to get hot again. Bryce Harper is going to get hot again. Kyle Schwarber is going to go through a tear where, because you're now in the end of the season, he's going to go through like a 2-week period where we're just like, geez, this guy was on pace for like maybe 30 home runs, and now he's on pace for 40, you know? We're going to go through another stretch like that. But in the meantime, you need some of those guys that maybe a lot of the fans in the opposing stands never even heard of. Like, you think they know Weston Wilson? Well, they know him now. That's what's really interesting to me. And that's what's made the first half of the schedule so special, is that those guys really picked up in times where the bigger name guys weren't exactly hitting the cover off the ball. So last night after the game, after his 2-hit performance, after his clutch leadoff double in the 8th inning to get a runner in scoring position with nobody out to start things off in the 8th, Weston Wilson had himself a good game. And after that, Bryce Harper was asked about what Weston Wilson can do for you.
What's impressive about Wilson? I mean, I've seen
State, man. I mean, I feel like he just, every time he's in the lineup, he puts the bat on the ball, righty, lefty. I think he does a really good job. I think also he does, the way he kind of swung the bat in the minor leagues this year. He puts together really good at-bats. He's flat to the baseball. Just a really good player. I mean, he just got to keep going, and I think he's going to be a really crucial part, to this team.
Did you hear that? Think he's going to be a really crucial part to this team. Interesting. All right, so Bryce, go and scurry over to your boy. What do they call him? Damo? Damo? Dave Dabrowski. and go over and be like, hey, I know you traded for that Austin Hayes guy, and he was hurt for 2 weeks. Well, in the 2 weeks that he was hurt, this Weston Wilson guy is pretty hot. And I don't know if you've looked around our lineup, and this is including me, and I'm speaking as Bryce Harper here. Can we really afford to say, hey, guy hitting the baseball really well? Take a seat. Can we afford to do that? Because right now it doesn't seem like we can afford to do that. I understand that Rob Thompson said he's going to get more at bats, and maybe they do have him go out there today against Schwellenbach and see what he can do against Schwellenbach, Spencer Schwellenbach. 7:08 start time, by the way, tonight in Atlanta. We'll see what he can do there, but that's not going to be enough. I need to see more of Weston Wilson. If he's the guy swinging the hot bat, I need to see more of that. Austin Hayes and experimenting with him. He'll get his chances. He'll get his reps. You'll give days off to Brandon Marsh too. But as of right now, I can't take a guy who just hit for the cycle out. I can't take a guy who just led my team in hitting for the night. I get it. But he led the offense. I'm not, and was clutch, by the way. I ain't taking that guy out of the lineup. How do you do that? Especially when you have been struggling with hitting the baseball recently. I mean, we were just talking about this game or this series in particular, scoring 3 runs in the first 2 games. Excuse me, 4 runs in the first 2 games. That's not impressive. Not even a little bit. Phillies will have their work cut out for him today. Spencer Schwellenbach did have his way with the Phillies. He gave up 7 hits in 6 innings, but no runs. So the Phillies will have their work cut out for them. That was in that July 5th series where we were introduced to Michael Mercado, the starter, and Tyler Phillips. Tyler Phillips actually came in that series as well and did himself a hell of a job. But yeah, that's tonight, 7:08 start time. Fox broadcast tonight. Meh. I want to make sure I have that right with Schwellenbach. Did he give up 1 run or was it scoreless against the Phils back in the July 6th? 1 run. Okay, yeah, that's coming out to me. That sounds better. 1 run on 7 hits in 6 innings. He threw 81 pitches in that. And that was just his 6th career start. 7th career start. Scoozy. So that's what the Phillies got going on tonight. Christopher Sanchez. I don't want to scare you about Christopher Sanchez, but the last time Christopher Sanchez threw a complete game, he came out in his next start and he was, what do the kids say? Cheeks. He was cheeks after that. But Sanchez comes in after that 9-inning affair. And after his last complete game, where he threw 2 more pitches, and after his complete game shutout against the Marlins back on June 28th, threw 101 pitches, 3 hits, obviously complete game shutout. Then in his next start, went into Chicago to take on the Cubs at Wrigley, and that's where the cheeks come in. 4 innings, 7 runs, home run, 7 hits. Needed 79 pitches to get through those 4 innings of work. So Christopher Sanchez, let's take whatever you did in that moment of coming off that complete game, and then whatever you did then, and use it as a teaching moment, and don't make whatever that mistake was last time. Don't do it here. Don't do it here. And the thing is, like, if you look at his other starts where he's thrown like 94 pitches against the Yankees, he came out, and that was the start that he ended up giving up a lot of runs in, 5 2/3, 6 runs. He came out in his next start. That was 94 pitches. He threw 89 pitches in his next start against the LA Dodgers, and he went 6 innings, 1 run on 5 hits. So the workload is a little scary, a little intense. Another instance where he threw over 90 pitches was against the San Diego Padres. He went 7 innings in that one, 94 pitches, allowing 1 earned run. And then in his next start against the Diamondbacks, 7 scoreless. So he can take the workload. Do it again, please. I don't want to. I really can't. Oh, God, for my mental well-being, I can't take the idea of the Phillies walking out of Atlanta losing 2 of 3. I can't take it. I can't take the Phillies starting a series in Kansas City, knowing they already dropped 2 of 3 to start off this road trip. This brief 6-game, I mean, not brief, but 6-game road trip. I can't take it. We might have to take it. I don't want to take it, but we might have to take it. Anyway, hey, your football team. I am really, really excited for Brazil. Next week, we're going to have somebody from Brazil on the show that heads up their Eagles fan base, the little Eagles fan club down there. Oh, yeah. We're going to talk to a prominent member of that fan base from Brazil. And I am very excited for the start of the season. And it has nothing to do with Brazil. It just has to do with the fact that I think this Eagles team is stacked. Absolutely stacked. Especially on the offense side of things. And I am excited for the way that this defense seems to have taken to their new defensive coordinator. And everything that I have heard is right now, before winning and losing starts, seems to be pretty endearing. For as tough and as much of a hard ass that Vic Fangio is supposed to be, this seems to be the exact medicine that Eagles defense from last year seems to be the exact medicine that they need. Somebody to call them out. Somebody to actually put them in position to make some plays and make some things happen. You know, throughout this entire thing with training camp and all that, and Jalen Hurts not throwing an interception up until yesterday, that's a great storyline for Jalen Hurts. But then it's like, hey, defense, how about taking the football away? Let's get some turnovers here. And then what happens in their first 2 preseason games? They get clutch turnovers, whether it's forcing fumbles, whether it's picking off balls in the end zone, whatever it might be, or breaking up plays in the end zone, whatever it might be. That's this defense taking care or making sure that their opposing offense can't take care of the pigskin. So I'm not concerned about that going into this season. But I do look at this team, and I am very excited to see what Kellen Moore does. And it seems like there's 2 obvious things here that some of us were concerned about when Kellen Moore was brought in and when Vic Fangio was brought in. And the one thing we were concerned about with Vic Fangio is the blitz. Because all we hear about Vic Fangio, and we've talked about it many times on this show, is quarters defense, communication, playing back, not being aggressive. Those are things we hear constantly about Vic Fangio's defense. Vic Fangio has blitzed in this preseason. Beyond that, Vic Fangio has talked about the importance of the blitz in his defense, which has never been his MO. Like, I didn't even think we'd be talking about it in training camp at all. I didn't even think we'd be talking about it in the preseason. But this guy's sending corners. This guy's obviously sending linebackers. And I'm thinking, this is all simple stuff. This is one man just going after it. This isn't like complex blitzing schemes or anything like that. This is just very basic stuff. I did not expect to see that in the preseason. I surely did not expect Vic Fangio to be talking about how he feels like it's not just to say I have to blitz right now. It's that I should blitz or I want to blitz. Like, that's for it to be up to the defense and not be a forced situation to the offense that's a pretty good mentality to have, because that's where you start getting into that quicksand. Oh, you're trying to force something that's not there. That's where you fall into trouble. One of the big things about Jonathan Gannon's defense, Sean Desai's defense, and obviously Matt Patricia's defense for a little while there was that you just never felt like they were ready to apply pressure. And that was with Fletcher Cox in the middle of that defensive line. You just never felt like they were there to apply pressure. And here we are listening to Vic Fangio talk about the importance of the blitz on defense. Did not see that coming. And it seems like we're going to see that during the regular season. And I would be less encouraged. The fact that it's just so normal that you see these non-exotic schemes from him in the preseason, the fact that you see that's fine. If you were to see more exotic things, that's where I'd be a little bit more concerned that they're not going to do it, because he's not going to put that stuff on film. He's just going to have very simple one-man go. Just one man get after the quarterback type things. And then you see the versatility a little bit more of Bryce Huff in the last preseason game. He gets to put that on display in a limited amount, but at least you saw it. So one thing that, when it comes to the defense, one thing that we talked about and we're concerned about whether or not we'd see it is the blitz. We've seen it. We've talked about it. Vic Fangio has talked about it. Certainly seems like it's at least going to be in there more than certainly more than Jonathan Gannon. If I had to make a prediction, we're going to see it more than we saw from Gannon, more than we saw from the Patricia Desai era, which was over quickly. And then I think we're going to see it more along the lines of a Jim Schwartz. Now, it's not going to be a wide 9, obviously, but it's going to be something in terms of the regularity of blitzing. I think it'll be more close to that, what we saw in the Jim Schwartz era. Definitely not Jim Johnson. So let's just get past that. Anyway, all right. So that's something that I've learned and was not expecting this preseason. Kellen Moore on the offensive side of things. Something that we were a little cautious about. 2 things, actually. One was the read option, whether or not we'd see that. I think it would be bonkers to not have it. It's something that I think you are going to see between Saquon Barkley and Hurts. The reason I think it would be bonkers is because imagine you're an edge rusher and you beat your man on this read option, and you look, and Jalen Hurts has the ball in the belly of Saquon Barkley. Good luck to you. Who are you choosing to attempt to bring down in that situation? Good luck. The second thing is throwing to running backs. Throwing to guys at the line of scrimmage, not just running backs, but maybe you have your slot receiver just down there around the line of scrimmage. Maybe that's the case. That's something that I'm very curious about. I was very curious about going into this season. Is Kellen Moore going to be more about throwing the football downfield, even more so than we've seen from Jalen Hurts over the last 2 years? And talk about forcing things. Last year certainly looked like this Eagles offense was forcing things, and I didn't know if Kellen Moore was going to be the guy to come in and rectify that. I knew he'd be a better play caller. I knew his scheme would overall be better. But would he have Jalen Hurts taking even more risks than the risks we saw him take last year? Doesn't appear to be the case. Here's the number one thing is protect the football and be smart with the football. And Nick Sirianni talking about it many, many times, more so than I've ever heard him talk about it, because I do believe that Nick Sirianni was that demon on the shoulder of Jalen Hurts from time to time last year, being like, no, throw it deep. Go ahead. No, don't take the little baby yards up front there. Don't take the no, go down. Go downfield. Doesn't appear that Jalen Hurts is getting that kind of coaching this year. And now all of a sudden I hear Nick Sirianni talking about how great it is to throw to a running back and throw to the line of scrimmage. Okay, could have used that a few different occasions last year. And now you're going to be put in the hands of Saquon Barkley again? Yeah. As I've been saying throughout this entire preseason, as I've been saying since they got Saquon Barkley, if you're going for a home run play and you don't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith open enough downfield, you could still hit Saquon Barkley and he could still get you a 20-yard gain, a 30-yard gain. He can still do that for you. You could hit him 1 yard over the line of scrimmage and he can still take a 20 more upfield. That still could be a home run play for you. That still could be a splash play for you. That still could be that big play you're looking for. So take advantage of that, because that's the talent. That's the talented hands in which you're putting the pigskin. So to hear about, see, and listen to coaches talk about how Jalen Hurts is doing that with a lot more regularity, taking what the defense gives him, you go a long way doing that in the NFL. Long, long way. So defensively, I didn't expect Vic Fangio to be talking about the blitz and see it as much as we have in the preseason. Offensively, I didn't expect Jalen Hurts to be talked about as if, because we haven't seen him in games, obviously, and we're not going to see him in games. But to see him and hear about how he's talking about checking down to a guy at the line of scrimmage, whether that's your wide receiver, that's just on a drag route, or that's Saquon Barkley running into the flat. Love every ounce of that so far. But yesterday we did have a very unfortunate occurrence at training camp. Last day of camp. Jalen Hurts entered the last day of camp not having thrown an interception. Moment of silence. A once perfect heralded record, now a thing of the past. We will tell our grandchildren about the heroics of Jalen Hurts in training camp and the amazing run that he had. But it came to an end yesterday when evil Darius Slay picked off Jalen Hurts. I love Jalen Hurts' response to it. And he wasn't asked about it to the end of the press conference. Did you say anything to Slay after he picked you off? And he said, about time. Fair. However, Darius Slay, and how could I not give you at least a minute of Darius Slay talking about it? But Darius Slay said he didn't say anything to him. He said, Jalen didn't say anything to me, and then proceeded to have some fun. Here's Darius Slay. Hope he's happy, because yesterday was the day the season went in the toilet. I hope you're happy, Slay. I'm going to call you Darius just because I'm pissed. Here's Darius.
Slay, were you aware that was Jalen's first interception at camp?
Yeah, I'm aware. I mean, y'all, the media be talking about that all camp. That he been what, 200 something throws or whatever, something like that. Like, yeah, I've been aware of it. Yeah.
So was it sweet, Jay?
Huh? What it did? What? Oh, that's normal. Yeah, I'm 12 years in. I've been intercepting quarterbacks for a long time. Some of the great ones. So it was good. It's fun.
What did you see on that play? Looked like you.
Oh, just
a little late. Looked like you baited him.
Yeah, I baited him. That's it. I know how to bait Hurts. You know what I'm saying? I made him feel like he was open, and I'm like, nah, he ain't. That was it. Just a little bait. You know, threw a little rod out there and just reel it in.
Did Jalen say anything to you after?
Nah, he don't like to talk to me when I pick him off. He get kind of mad at me a little bit. He kind of about it. But it's okay. I'm going to go give him a hug and stuff.
I listened to it 3 times this morning, and it's still funny. I'm going to go give him a hug and something. Little bait. He is so much fun, man. Oh, God, I hope he has a great season. Like, that's not fun. That's fun. Darius Slay yesterday on picking up Jalen Hurts. It really was a great camp. I really do. I think about, and I've referenced this a lot with you guys, but I do think about the alternate universe where this could have gone the other way real quick. Bad story. Let's see. This is where mentally tough athletes are worth every penny. And Jalen Hurts, to me, is a very tough athlete when it comes to the mindset of the game, when it comes to the mentality of the game. Like, you're not frail. Oh, they fired my quarterback's coach. Whoa! They fired the guy that I've known since I was 4. Whoa! No, okay, that's now I got to give you something else. Okay, this is a challenge. Now this is 95% different to me than what we're doing here. I'm going to go out and I'm going to learn that I have already mastered it by the end of training camp. The storylines could have been far different from training camp. This could have been Jalen Hurts still 95% new. Jalen Hurts not picking it up. What Kellen Moore is putting down. Kellen Moore and Jalen Hurts not on the same page. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts hate each other. Now, I know that was a storyline for a minute. And I know multiple people have come out and said that last year those guys weren't on the same page. Well, that could have continued greatly. And then the next thing you know, them two are driving off the practice field together in Big Dom's golf cart. And Big Dom's on the back being like, can I drive, guys? This could have gone really bad. Stories could have been leaked out about how this defense can't stand Vic Fangio. They totally understand what the Miami Dolphins were thinking about Vic Fangio. That could have been the case, but it's not. Smooth. This could have been as smooth as sandpaper, and it wasn't. It was fresh, easy. Going through this entire training camp session, story after story, positivity. The only negative was talking about last year. None of that seems to be carried over into this year. We talked about it for a long time. When Jalen Hurts was asked at minicamp about Nick Sirianni, Martin Frank asked a good question. And I mean, I hate to call. I don't want to downplay it and say it was a softball question, but it was, hey, what's talking about Nick Sirianni's adaptability? Like, that's another way to say, hey, Nick's doing less. How's he handling that? And Jalen Hurts was like, I don't know how to answer that. Say something nice about your head coach. I can't. That was 6 weeks before training camp started. And then ever since then, things seem to be simpatico. Now, you could easily say that the Eagles sat Jalen Hurts down and just like, look, he's not going to have much to do with what you're doing. So if you could just be, he's a nice guy. If you guys could just be, you don't even have to like each other. You don't even have to like each other. Just respect one another. That's it. Just respect one another. Okay, I can do that. Even if that's the case, fine. Then they found a way to make it work somehow. This training camp, look, all you can really ask for in training camp is that guys are healthy, and that guys will will go into the season on the right note. The Eagles are getting everything out of training camp that you could want. Even if you were rooting for Tyler Steen and Mekhi Becton looks like he's going to be your right guard, I got confidence in that. I feel good about that. Quenyon Mitchell looks like he's going to be your nickel. I'm not going to say nickel corner anymore. That's a bad thing to Vic Fangio. Looks like he's going to be your number one nickel. With Darius Slay and right now Isaiah Rodgers, if I got a question, it's about Isaiah Rodgers. I really like Keely Ringo. I'm a Ringo guy, man. I want Ringo. And the safety position with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson getting back to the swing of things from the shoulder injury. Reed Blankenship coming off an injury last year. And I feel good about Avonte Maddox as a backup safety and a guy to be in the nickel. Avonte Maddox's problem is not talent. It's health. If he can stay healthy, then we're good. But I feel great about him coming off the bench to help this team, whether that's at the I almost did it, at the nickel position or at the safety position. I am shocked. Probably the biggest shock of training camp is that James Bradbury is still here. Okay. And then also the fact that I am so excited about linebackers. I'm excited. I am excited about Eagles linebackers. What? How? What universe am I in? But everything you could ask for from training camp, you got. Your offense is healthy. Your defense is getting healthy, mostly healthy, with the exception of Chauncey Gardner-Johnson coming back. We might even see Cooper DeJean back playing, a healthy Cooper DeJean playing the preseason here on Saturday against the Vikings at 1 o'clock. We could probably see it, most likely. But all you can really ask for is that you just end everything on a great note. And the only what if, or will see, just has to do with something you haven't seen yet, which is Jalen Hurts physically run Kellen Moore's offense. Haven't seen it yet. I've seen Vic Fangio put his starters in there and coach and have them play. I haven't seen it with the offense yet. Look forward to seeing that happen. The Eagles are in the best possible position to go out there and into Brazil in week 1 and have success. That's how I feel about it at the close of training camp. Now just get through this final preseason game healthy, and all will be right with the world. By the way, speaking of training camp and training camp darlings, I mentioned one of my favorite guys. And Joseph Nada, undrafted receiver, wide receiver out of Clemson, and tight end E.J. Jenkins out of Georgia Tech, 6'7", ginormous. He has been one of my favorite. E.J. Jenkins has been one of my favorite players to watch. Came up pretty clutch. Him and Nada came up pretty clutch in the game-winning drive against the Patriots in the final preseason game, in the second preseason game, excuse me. And yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles made an interesting move. Yesterday, they released C.J. Uzomah, and he's a tight end. He's a veteran. And I'm hoping that opens a door for a pass-catching tight end that has certainly seemed to make a name for himself this training camp. And that is E.J. Jenkins. And what I've seen from him in training camp and in the preseason shows me he's a guy that wants to make plays at the NFL level. The Eagles have not had that number 2 tight end. Not of note. And, I mean, even going back, and this is not a brag to L.J. Smith, but he was a starter. Yeah, did you expect to hear L.J. Smith today? I got you with Rod Barajas yesterday. Today I'm getting you with L.J. Smith. L.J. Smith then went to Brent Selleck. And you had 2 tight ends that at least the Eagles thought of as starting caliber tight ends. And then Brent Selleck took it and ran with it. And then after Brent Selleck, you had 2 great tight ends in Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz. And then with Zach Ertz, you had Zach Ertz and Dallas Goedert. Who's now with Dallas Goedert? Who's the number 2 guy that you feel like can catch a pass? E.J. Jenkins? Grant Calcaterra, love the guy. Haven't seen him make many plays. So E.J. Jenkins makes this team. I'm a very happy man. E.J. Jenkins goes out there and makes some more plays. Maybe he catches some touchdowns on Saturday from our man Tanner McKee as he tightens up that quarterback 2 battle going on right now. I'm for it. I'm all for it. Can't wait for it. I'm here for it. So, yeah. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app to your phone. Create an account. Use promo code Farzy and get up to excuse me. That's the wrong read. Use the Game Time app. Download it to your phone. When you go to buy tickets, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. The Game Time app is where it's at. Love the Game Time app. When I go to a game, when I go to a concert, when I go to a comedy show, my wife's going to a concert this weekend, as a matter of fact. She's using the Game Time app. Just like that. Game Time also has a new feature they want to show off to you. If you're not using it, oh, man, you got to take advantage. Right now, the Game Time app has Game Time Picks. It's a new feature. It makes getting tickets to your favorite team, favorite sporting event, your favorite concert or comedy show even easier. All you have to do with Game Time Picks, download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off, and with Game Time Picks, you can filter out the fluff to show you the only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It's wonderful. It makes searching for your tickets all that much easier on the Game Time app. So once again, download the Game Time app to your phone. Also take advantage of the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and same row elsewhere for less money on another site, another app, Game Time will credit your account 110% of the difference on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, use promo code Farzy when you download the Game Time app for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs? That's PHLSportsNation.com. Before I get to the chat check, there's one more thing I wanted to show you guys. Updated standings after last night's game in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers still have the best record in baseball. Yeah, they won. The Phillies, second best record in baseball. The New York Yankees, who just have Juan Soto and that Aaron Judge guy just teeing off baseballs. They're a game and a half behind the pace. And then the Brewers lost last night. That's a shame. And was it the Cardinals that walked it off with a grand slam against the Brewers? I think it was. Nolan Arenado, hon. He hit a ball real hard, and he hit it deep. Yeah. In St. Louis, walk-off grand slam, bottom of the 10th inning. Nolan Arenado. And then the Braves are now 7 games back behind the Phils. Good times. Good times. All right, let's get into the chat check. See how, oh, wait, did I give you the Royals on that? I think I gave you the Royals on that. Where are them Royals at? Royals are 71-56 coming into the series that starts tomorrow. 4.5 games out of first place overall in Major League Baseball. All right, let's get into the chat and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine Thursday morning. Morning, April. James Alexander. Glad to see the win. IBH, good morning. Jason. What's up, Jason A? Thank God we won last night. Phillies love to stress you out, but glad for the win. I was pretty glad for the win. And I was pretty happy that Weston Wilson led the way. Just hard to understand how the Phillies could have as good as they were. Phillies could have been as good as they were. Now this version. Now this version of what? Craptastic baseball? Pretty much. April, when it comes to the slow start or late start of the show, he either needs a new AOL disc or Dad Life. Okay, Dad Life is better because Lil Toots is no longer sick. She's feeling strong. She's feeling good. Dad Life, more like Boomer Life. Because I'm not good with computers. Daniel, what's going on? Sean Kilrain, what's popping? I did agree to come on the show Monday. I'll be on your show Monday. Sean, gotta love that joke of a player Arcia staring down Harper. Way to go, postseason, buddy. Yep. Or wait till the postseason, buddy. Yeah. If they make the postseason. Fuji, what's going on? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Oh, no, crazy. Torrential thunderstorms down there in Florida at 5:30 in the morning, so I'm here to watch the show. Hey, crazy. Welcome to the party. Jeff, what's going on? I keep hearing White and Dean look great at linebacker, and definitely depth looks good, so it'll be hard to play top 2 draft picks a lot. If true, that's got to make you feel great about Fangio's defense. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Again, like I was going into last week's game against the Patriots, before every game, just like you do, I'm thinking, okay, what do I really want to see? What do I need to see? And I'm like, man, I really can't wait to see the linebackers. And then I stopped. I went, I really can't wait to see the linebackers. When the hell was the last time I said that? Like Zach Cunningham last year was a pleasant surprise, but I wasn't like, oh my God, Zach Cunningham's here. And then Miles Jack was here for like 20 minutes before he was like, I need to learn how to fight in an apocalypse. And then he left. Literally, he said that. The zombie apocalypse. I don't know if he said zombie. He might have said zombie. An apocalypse. I think he wanted to learn how to weld or something like that. And then he ended up signing with the Steelers in November. It was late. It was late in the season. I remember. Greg Benson, what's going on? After watching the highlights and the myriad. Anyway, ground balls. My recommendation is the Phillies use lower bats tonight. All right. Stare down was kind of funny, actually, if we weren't losing so badly lately, says Jason A. What is the H12 mean next to Kirkering? Hold. That's his 12th hold of the season, which is a stat they started using 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's been a minute. They've been using that for a while. What do we get here? Okay, I'll get to it eventually. There we go. Matt Strom gets the win. Orion Kirkering is 12th hold, and Estevez gets his 22nd save. That's how that works. Appreciate that. What else do we got? Cooper to John, mister. Hell yeah. Mr. Sandman. Really? Jalen Hurts believes he's God's gift to quarterbacking? I don't get that vibe. Darkwing Ducky? Great name. Farzy, want to tailgate Eagles Saints in NOLA? Might as well scout it out before Eagles Ravens Super Bowl. You heard it here first. I love it. I love New Orleans. I would hang in New Orleans whenever. You're inviting me to New Orleans? I'm coming to New Orleans, baby. Underrated. And don't judge me too much. I do this in every city. Everywhere I've gone, I've had McDonald's. Italy, Germany, Great Britain, London specifically, Peru, Cusco, Peru. Everywhere I've gone, I always go to McDonald's. I say that because New Orleans is I don't want to give you a hot take here. I want to make sure I really mean what I say. All right, I'm going to couch it. Sorry. New Orleans is in the conversation like my top 3 food cities in the United States, maybe top 6 in the world that I've been to. New Orleans is amazing with food. So that's the only reason I preference with my McDonald's conversation, because you have all this amazing food in New Orleans, but when you get done on Bourbon Street, not everything's open, at that hour. But they have this burger. They have a place, a fast food joint in New Orleans called Crystal Burger. Is that it? Is it Crystal Burger? Is that what it's called? Darkwing Ducky? I think it's Crystal Burger. And I have crushed Crystal Burgers after a Sunday night football game, walking on Bourbon Street, and then stopping at Crystal Burger on my way back to the hotel. No, there is no greater feeling than eating fast food and being like, it's medicinal. But yeah, I'll crush some Crystal Burger down there with you. And then I'll also go, the Palace Cafe on Canal Street? Ooh, crab claws. Delicious. Anyway, sorry. Thursday or Thursday, Mr. Sandman. Thursday. What do we got here? That started off on that. Cooper to Gene, honestly, don't care. Yeah, I'm not hating on Calcaterra. They'll still have 3 tight ends. Yeah. Just saying, O-line also my biggest worry. Don't have that second line. Yeah, the depth there is a little shaky. But hey, if you're telling me you got depth, like with Keegan playing as well as he has in the preseason, Toth playing well in the preseason, I think we're going to be surprised by the depth. But yeah, you're right. We don't have like those like steady, stable of young guys backing up. Jason, thanks for the New Orleans food thing. Oh, hell yeah, man. Get down there, enjoy. Ravens, Eagles, Super Bowl would be fire. Yes, it would. Darkwing Ducky, char grilled oysters for the win. Here's the thing. People do a lot of things with oysters. You know what I like? Oysters. You know what I don't need? Anything hyphenated before the word oysters. Like char grilled, deep fried. I'm good. I just like the oyster, man. I like the oyster. Yeah, give me the hot sauce. Give me a little vinegar, whatever that is now. I'll crush oysters all the live long day. Don't you worry. Sean, you're welcome. I look forward to coming on the show. Monday's podcast. Let's go. 6 to 20. 6 to 20. 6 to 6:20 I can do because I got to get ready for the Phillies game. But I'm happy to come on with you guys. Appreciate it. I'll tease it on the show Monday. Hit me up then. Thanks. Hey, everyone. Tonight, 7:08 start time. Remember, it's a Fox broadcast tonight. Christopher Sanchez takes on that Spencer Schwellenbach guy. Schwellenballs. Anyway, he pitches tonight. I'm a child. I'm sorry. That's going to be the matchup. Schwellenbach, for the record. Yeah. Sanchez comes in 9-8 with a 3.46 ERA. Schwellenbach 4-6 record. 4.04 ERA. In Schwellenbach's last start, he went 5 innings, 3 runs against the Angels in Anaheim, and then he went up against the Rockies in Colorado, 6 innings, 2 runs. His last home start, 7 innings, 3 runs against the Miami Marlins. So that's what the Phillies are doing. Come on back. Are we back? We might be back. All right. Schwellenbach goes for the Braves tonight. Have a great rest of your day. Back with you guys tomorrow. See you.